Southern Draw Outdoors, a little rough around the edges. With your co-hosts, Johnny Coker, John Howard, Matt Goldschmidt,
The old 45 long coat's gonna be in its head here very soon.
and your show host, Mike Smith.
That was a good shot, brother. Woo! That was a good shot, brother. Get shot.
Southern Draw Outdoors, a little rough around the edges.
We've been out on the river marsh doing a lot, me and my son, and it was time for a gator hunt together for a youth hunt. We've had a chance to spend a lot of time on the river, hanging out, gator hunting, deer hunting, fishing, and just generally run around the river marsh. And this was finally a chance where Shay and I could go out and do a youth hunt. And Shay's no stranger to the river. I mean, me and him and his brother and even his little sister, we go out, we have some property out there, and we just absolutely love running around the river. Shay and his big brother Gareth spend a lot of time out there with me. It's kind of like something we do as a family, get out and just enjoy the river as much as we can. Now on the personal side, I just love the river marsh. I mean, I spend a lot of time rabbit hunting out there. I spend a lot of time deer hunting out there. I do as much as I can out there because it's a home away from home for me. And I spend a lot of time and it's very enjoyable. We are doing a youth hunt with Shay. Are you excited about this hunt?
Yes.
Are you? Yes. What are you looking for tonight? How big of a gator do you want to see if you can get on this evening?
10 foot.
10 foot. All right, well, here's the deal.
Maybe 6.
Right now, the gator hunting hasn't been like the best. We've got some good gators in this water out here, but typically what we're seeing is 6, 7 footers, a few 8s. We're not really going to pass up on something that's 6 foot or better. Honestly, we're not. Took his brother out he took him out two or three seasons ago, and we did a full body mount on a 6 footer, didn't we? And it's sitting above the TV.
It looks awesome.
It looks awesome. So our plan is to get at least one the size of your brother's or bigger, right?
Hopefully bigger.
Hopefully bigger. We've got 2 tags, so we'll see how tonight goes, but we're definitely going to be at least targeting one gator tonight, and we're going to put Shay on the gator. Now look, here's the deal. We're not going for a majorly big gator, okay? A lot of guys go out, they want to get the big old 10, 12 foot monster. We're out here for memories, having a good time with your kid. That's what youth hunts are all about. I want to impress that upon everybody, that it's about having fun with your kid, enjoying being outside, doing something like gator hunting. That's much more important in my mind than getting some big monster trophy. You agree?
Yes.
All right. But we still want one a little bit bigger than Garrett's.
Of course.
Of course. The key thing about any youth hunt, in my opinion, is we're not going for any big buck. We're not going for any big amount of birds in a bag limit. It's about the adventure with the youth. We have to instill to our kids, when we take them out hunting, it's not all about chasing a trophy, in my opinion. It's making memories. It's passing on the heritage of hunting and enjoying it with a family member. I think that's the key. I think too many guys are just stuck on bringing home, a big rack and showing their family, look what I killed, look what I got. In my opinion, that's all great. But man, when you take the kid out there, make sure that when the kid is listening to you come home and talk about a big harvest and a big rack and a big kill, remember who's listening. The kids are listening at the house. So going back to a youth hunt, my idea of this youth hunt was not necessarily to bag a big one or put the biggest lizard in the boat. It was to give an opportunity for a lot of good memories to be made and just enjoying the time out with my son. We hooked up with a good buddy of mine for this hunt, Captain Josh. He and I, we run the river a lot together, and we'll see each other in passing. And it ended up being that he said, yeah, I'll help you out with this youth hunt. Sounds really cool. Now, he has not just got a regular airboat. This thing is like nice. It's big. It's comfortable. It holds a lot of people. Why? Because he does airboat tours. Typically, people don't gator hunt on boats this big. We are like really lucky. We've got the rig tonight. I mean, Josh has got one of the finest airboats I think you could ever go out on. We're gonna have headsets where we can communicate to each other, and I mean, this thing right here is I would say, Josh, I think this right here is the Lamborghini of airboats by far. So it's gonna be a good time.
The airboat was a big airboat. I've only seen a handful of them, and that's one of the biggest ones I've ever seen.
When it's fully cocked, here's the safety.
Now tonight, Shay's hunting with a crossbow. A very cool crossbow, lightweight crossbow, very manageable. And the nice thing about this is he's using a laser sight. Very, very handy when it comes to getting up on these gators. But first, he's gonna have to learn how to use it. Captain Josh walked through the steps with him, showed him how to hold it, how to make sure he wasn't gonna get hurt shooting it. And of course, he had to do a couple practice shots.
There you go, just to the right.
Well, when I practiced the crossbow, I guess it was pretty important because I was kind of novice.
So you want to hit the body. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to listen to Josh or me, and we're going to be saying back a little, back a little. I mean, we'll be right there with you, but you don't want to shoot him in the head because that won't penetrate properly. Hunting conditions were a little difficult. For one thing, it was later in the season, a lot of the big lizards have been chased. So we decided early in the game that we are going to be going for just a good memory-making 6-foot gator. In my opinion, a 6-foot gator is better to mount, they've got a prettier hide, and most importantly, I think in my opinion, they're better to eat.
I want like a 7-footer.
If I say shoot, shoot.
Okay.
Don't worry about how big or small he is. You just put it where it belongs and pull the trigger.
You know, it's very important to be wearing camouflage when you're out here doing this.
Why?
Because you don't want any gators to see you in the dark.
They can basically still see your face.
Well, yeah, but if you weren't wearing, I mean, camouflage is very important. You have got to be wearing it when you gator hunt. When you do any hunting, you have to be wearing camouflage. Remember that, son? Because you look cool.
All right. You guys ready?
We're as ready as we're
Just
gonna
to be professional.
Let's do this.
Just giving you a hard time, son.
On that moment, I pulled the trigger and I saw you guys bringing it in. When I was bringing it in, I was so excited.
We'll be right back with more Southern Draw Outdoors. A little rough around the edges. Southern Draw Outdoors. This program is being brought to you by Arizona Easy Fletch, Goat Tough Products, Harnan Deer Scent, Team Harmon, King Shadow Camo, M&D Outfitters, North Florida Mud Motor, Roscovi Riser Cam, True Fire, Victory Archery, Southern Draw Outdoors. A little rough around the edges. Welcome back to Southern Draw Outdoors. A little rough around the edges.
Hunting with my dad is a great experience for me. It was pretty cool.
There's not very many chances when I can go out hunting with my son in a situation like this on a nice airboat. Just spending the time with him in the first few hours is looking, hunting, searching for a good lizard that we could harvest was very enjoyable for me.
See his back and his side?
Like, you know, that would.
There you go. Anywhere but the head. Anywhere but the head. So.
When you're hunting a big gator, you come across a lot of small ones. Most of the night we came up on a lot of little ones. Of course, that gave Shay an opportunity to look at them, get an idea where to shoot them with the laser beam.
The laser beam on the crossbow, that was one of the coolest things I've seen.
I saw a gator there.
All I'm gonna do is bounce around these little guys for a little bit. If I see one, I mean, there's so many little ones. If I see one I know is good enough, I'll make sure to let you know. But you might see some that are small, just kind of go by. That's just normal.
A lot of gators when you're hunting them. We spot them with a big spotlight. If they look big enough, when we get up closer, we take a shot with the crossbow. But what you see when you're first coming up on them is that little red, looks like a light glowing in the marsh. And with that spotlight, 50 watt, maybe 100 watt light, out there in the river marsh as we were scanning across, it was really kind of cool to see all the eyes. It's what you're looking for when you're coming up on one. Of course, the eye, you find it, you come up, it's big enough, you harvest it.
Be prepared to just see an eyeball and be prepared to see a whole alligator.
Well, in this hunt, being that it was later in the season, we had a lot of lizards that, even the small ones, they were getting a little smart on us, dropping down, making it a little bit difficult to get up on.
Yep, went down.
Dang it.
Hold on.
The gators going under was pretty annoying. I'm like, come on, when will one actually stay up?
Hold on. It's gonna be bubbles. See the bubbles? Gonna go. Just wait.
The nice thing about this airboat was it was big and comfortable, and there was room to move around, and there was room for both Shay and I to hunt together. And he and I sat next to each other most of the night, and of course I gave him a lot of coaching as we came up on gators that were potential shooters.
There's
Now,
that.
now point it on him where you want to shoot him.
That's where you would, a little down, right there.
Down,
Just don't
down,
pull the trigger.
Down, towards the boat,
Towards you.
towards the boat, there, and then forward, up the alligator. There you go. Okay, see where his head is? No, don't shoot him.
Right there's his eye.
You see him?
You would want to shoot him right there.
Yep, that's his back right there.
Finally, we were getting closer. We were getting close. You kind of feel it when you're out on the river marsh. The later it gets, the closer you kind of feel that the time's coming. Well, we came up on one gator, and it looked real good.
He looks a lot better at the moment. Get ready, get that safety off.
Don't touch the fire button
Hold
until.
on. Yep, he's borderline right there. See him? See him? Do you
no.
see the alligator? He's right there.
Right there.
The gator looked good. Josh could see it. I could see it. Problem was, Shay couldn't see it.
Well,
he's
let's.
What just happened?
Well, you just lost everything. So
That's okay. Relax. You didn't fire. It just fell. No, that's okay. I think we know where he's at, and he doesn't seem too boogered up. So we can always come back and get him.
When we came up on that gator, you all saw it, I didn't. It was pretty frustrating. I'm like, where is it? Where is it? I don't see it.
Missing that one gator did give Shay a chance to do a little practicing and to see what it's like when we came up on the one we really wanted.
Yeah, there you go.
he came off!
Oh.
One thing we like to do in Florida is frog gig. And old Josh, he saw a few that came into the boat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There you go. There he is. Yeah, I see him
Oh yeah.
now. In the boat.
Whoa.
The more we hunted, the more possible shooters we saw as the night grew on. We were getting closer.
Where is he?
I don't know.
They're in the
I
water.
think I just saw him pass.
They just went by. That was them.
Well, it was getting later, and finally, Shay, Captain Josh, and I ended up sneaking up on a gator that definitely looked like a shooter. Right there. We're shooting through a bunch of stuff. Now, at this point, I'm coaching Shay big time. I'm saying, buddy, watch your laser, watch your finger, watch that left hand, and get ready. I just want you to put that laser right there and squeeze off, because this right here is definitely one we want to take.
When I actually saw the gator, I couldn't really see it. You guys were still directing me to it. And right on that moment, I pulled the trigger and I saw you guys bringing it in. When I was bringing it in, I was so excited. I was like, oh yeah, I got one.
You got her, Shay. Good shot.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm excited.
He woke up. Well, like I said, we got a lot of soup. Shay, are you excited?
Yes. I am.
It's kind of like Christmas because we don't really know how big it is, do we, Shay? Now we're going to put this harpoon in her, Shay, just to give it her extra stick.
Well, when it was in, I took the harpoon, I stuck it in to get another line into it.
Right there, okay? Real hard. You got it way later, dude. There you go.
Before I bang stick it, it was in a slough. We couldn't get it under the water, so we had to move out of it a little bit. We had to move out of the lilies to make it to a wide open point. So when we put it under the water, I bang sticked it.
That's what we needed. Well, it's better than blood. There you go. Now, I think we have Shay's first gator coming in the boat. Go on, buddy.
One of the final steps is I need to bring the gator up, and I need to take a chisel and a hammer, and I need to cut its spinal cord so it doesn't flop around the boat.
Watch Josh's forehead.
Yeah. When I got in the boat, I was pretty excited. I'm like, I got my first gator. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
What do you think?
Awesome. Probably one of the best times of my life. Getting my first gator, actually getting it that one night after about 5 hours or so. When I got my gator, it was the same size as my brother's. His is a 6-footer, maybe a little bit bigger. That's basically the same size as mine. Well, it is pretty important for parents to take kids hunting because they get pretty excited when the kid gets on the gator, especially if it's your parent. They are filled with joy. It was a good experience out there with my dad.
Well, I'll tell you, Shay, 1:45 in the morning, we did it. We came out here, we wanted a good first gator for you. We're looking for something 6 foot. And look, what do we got? Are you happy?
6-footer.
And this
Yep.
was pretty cool. And you know what? You did everything. You pulled the trigger on the crossbow.
I pulled it in,
You pulled it in.
bang stick.
You did the bang stick.
I taped its mouth.
You taped its mouth, and you even did the old cut the spinal cord, didn't you?
You're the one who tagged it though.
Well, yeah, but that's part of my job. But it was a good hunt, wasn't it? You really enjoyed yourself, didn't you? You know, I know this is only a 6-foot gator, but I'll tell you what, for Shay, this was, it made memories. It's not all about the size of what you can go out there and harvest. It's the time you spend with family and friends and having a good time in the woods, and in our case, out here on the marsh. It was a fun time, and you know, I've often said this, I'll say it again, a 6-foot gator, they've got the prettier hide than a big old 9 or 10 or 12. And also, bottom line, they're a better eater. But I'll tell you, good memories made tonight. That's what it's all about, isn't it, buddy?
First gator.
The first gator. Cool.
It's a good size too.
So we're going to be hunting near a nice little roosting area where Mike's seen a lot of turkeys.
We'll be right back with more Southern Draw Outdoors. A little rough around the edges. Welcome back to Southern Draw Outdoors. A little rough around the edges.
In Florida, the species of turkey called is the Osceola. They are a unique and highly sought-after subspecies of the wild turkey, and they are only found on the Florida peninsula. The Osceola is the smallest and one of the most challenging subspecies of turkey to hunt. A mature tom turkey will only weigh 16 to 18 pounds and are said to have longer legs, typically bigger spurs, and longer beards. Departing his hometown of Lake Mary, just north of Orlando, Matt has left the production studio and hits the road for his half-day drive to southern Florida.
Well, we have made our first of 3 turns on this trip. We get on I-4, we get off on 27, then we turn right on 70, I think, and then I think my last turn is a turn right into the gas station I'm meeting Mike at. So it is a straight, boring shot.
For Matt Goldschmidt, a drive to the Turkey Woods doesn't seem to take all that long. Heading directly south to Glades County, the Turkey Woods are not that far away. Once south of I-70 and into Osceola Turkey Country, Matt meets up with longtime friend and guide Mike Tussey of Osceola Outdoors. With Matt's midday arrival, the guys are planning on an evening hunt. Osceola Outdoors conducts their hunts on 12,000 acres of private rangeland in South Florida, where wildlife populations are managed with selective harvest practices and supplemental feeding programs. This is the true Florida. The lodge here at Osceola Outdoors is an inviting place to see after the drive. With everything a hunter would need for a multiple-day hunt here in Glades County, Osceola Outdoors' comfortable lodge can sleep up to a dozen hunters and serves as a place to relax prior to the evening hunt. Osceola Outdoors has some premier wild hog hunts, and the trophies on the wall are just a sample of what this part of Florida holds.
We have shown up and we are getting ready. Mike's back there behind me getting everything all set, ready to go. So a few minutes, we're going to be hunting near a nice little roosting area where Mike's seen a lot of turkeys. So hopefully tonight we'll close the deal on one and have some time to play, see what happens.
Mike has guided a few hunters this season and knows where a few gobblers have been frequenting. And for Matt, this is a good thing. Matt and Mike will be hunting in an orange grove this evening. The birds are not roosting in the orange trees, but in the pines and skinny hardwoods that line the groves. These toms have been feeding and working the hens in the grassy roadways between the orange trees, giving plenty of places to set up under the natural tree canopy.
We'll be right back with more Southern Draw Outdoors. A little rough around the edges. Southern Draw Outdoors. This program is being brought to you by Arizona Easy Fletch, Goat Tough Products, Harnan Deer Scent, Team Harmon, King Shadow Camo, M&D Outfitters, North Florida Mud Motor, Roscovi Riser Cam, True Fire, Victory Archery, Southern Draw Outdoors. A little rough around the edges. Welcome back to Southern Draw Outdoors. A little rough around the edges.
Matt and Mike have been hunting for no more than 15 minutes. A bit of calling, and a Jake shows up. Not quite the long beard they were looking for, but a good sign. With just a bit of raking and more calling, Mike calls in not one, but two mature toms. Now, it's just a matter of time. They are hoping they come in close. Ignoring the decoys, these two toms disappear with a farewell gobble. But things are about to change with this bird.
Mike. There he is.
why did you say hey? I wanted to get him stick his head up. I kept calling, trying to get him stick his head up, and he wouldn't ever.
Oh, man.
All right.
That was good. Man, you cannot beat that. That right there is...
Way to go. I told you there was more than those two.
I know there's two. Right
There's
back
two,
over there.
Right here. They were 5 yards behind us, right here.
That was good. Dude, that was a good hunt.
All right, go get him, man.
We brought him in. That was good. An evening hunt before roost. Look at him flop. This is great. Gosh, that is so cool. What, we shot him at, I don't know, that was 30 yards?
Oh, no. We're talking 18, 19
he was
yards.
closer.
18, 19. I was afraid he was going to get too close. That pattern on that gun is just so super tight. You get under 20, and it's like shooting a slug gun. So I wanted to make sure that we got him out there. That's why I kept saying, hey, hey, you know, trying to get him to stick his head up.
Yep.
He was so focused on the decoys that he did not want to come out of strut. So.
Dude, that made me laugh. You're like, hey, I'm not a big turkey hunter, but that was fun.
Hey,
that was fun.
When they're so focused on decoys like that, sometimes the only way to get them to periscope that head and get a good shot is just to say, hey, hey, and most of the time they'll just stick that head up and look. He didn't even want to stick his head up. He was so focused on those hens right there.
Probably, maybe
yeah, he probably heard these birds right here. He may even seen them, I don't know, but there was two other gobblers right here. We had those two come in less than, what, 15 minutes ago?
Yep.
And they stopped at 60 yards. 60 yards and wouldn't come any closer to us.
Well, this bird's good. That one probably out there at, well, this might have a thicker beard. That one had a long, thin beard, but this sucker right here.
This one's got, let's go look at it.
Let's go check that out. A nice Osceola turkey in Glades County. I mean, talking about a day, I literally jumped out of the car, hit the blind with Mike, and we were calling birds in. And this one, he's a TV star. He came right in. I mean, right into us calling. He did the thing. He didn't come out of strut. He didn't stretch that neck real high, but I'll tell you what, he made good TV. I think we got probably, I don't know, he's probably got about a 10-inch beard. Good looking spurs. Very good turkey. And when he's coming in, that big old head, that was just glowing. That was awesome. And that's what it's all about. Turkey hunting in South Florida, you cannot beat it.
Southern Draw Outdoors. This program is being brought to you by Arizona Easy Fletch, Goat Tough Products, Harnan Deer Scent, Team Harmon, King Shadow Camo, M&D Outfitters, North Florida Mud Motor, Roscovi Riser Cam, True Fire, Victory Archery, Southern Draw Outdoors.